fate of the universe on the line. I want Iguodala.
Kevin Durant. You know who I am.
Hurry, way downtown. Up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. Is this the dagger?
The NBA is back with yet another lap around the track, with changes to teams, new champions and dreams. Ben, Kyrie, Kawhi and Zion all return and stave off yawn. Now the Lakers struggle more and the king prays for a prince to come his way. All you can get every week, however, is the #BallsBay NBA podcast, your favorite NBA podcast in an Indian accent. We are back at it again with the first episode of the new NBA season. So if this is your first time listening, my name is Ashwin and please do subscribe to the pod wherever you listen to your podcast at. In the association this week, Lakers start off the season unexpectedly by losing to everyone they meet. Luka Doncic hears reporters everywhere and makes the first claims for MVP, and the referees of the Suns-Warriors game decide to take over and remind fans why the league exists. Speaking of bewilderment, I've got with me as always someone with a thesaurus on loyalty, someone with a very weird sense of lighting, and someone who has never received a single spam call, my co-host Vineet.
How's it going, man? How's it going? What is the thesaurus of loyalty? What is that? What's that?
Thesaurus, like, you know, loyalty in every single form that is there. Just loyalty. Perhaps.
Keep this thing in mind, and then it'll be funny later on.
I don't know what that is about, but we will find out as we go this episode. We have a very specific reason. First of all, NBA is back. We are all extremely grateful that we're back. Some of us are streaming it live. Some of us are watching the highlights. But we are all not ignoring it. We have actual games to watch. We have actual matchups. The defending champions have come back saying that, okay, we have everyone we need. We are going to do it again. There are upstarts. Portland is not losing games. The Mavericks have sort of a shaky start. Nets are doing pretty bad in their beginning. Lakers absolutely trash. Detroit Pistons, usually Orlando Magic, after the first 3 games of any season, they are 3-0. This time they've not won any games. So, your first impressions of this new season beginning,
I'm just glad everybody's healthy. There's no real star that is injured. Hopefully, if Kawhi gets enough rest in the first 50 games, then we'll see the Clippers do well in the playoffs. I don't know why he needs so much rest, man. Honestly, I love the guy. He's my favorite player, but I think this whole rest thing is getting before Jokic.
Before Jokic, because both sides of the game.
Just I don't know what it is. Just scary. I wouldn't want to go against Kawhi. I don't mind going against Jokic. Because Jokic's success depends on everybody else. But Kawhi just okay, I will pull up from here, and then I will take 2 dribbles and pull up from here, and then I will snatch the ball from your hand and go and pull up and dunk, and you cannot do anything about it.
Coming back this season, now for this episode, we have a very special agenda. The agenda is, of course, we're going to talk about all the 30 teams. It's only when you tell yourself that you're going to talk about all the 30 teams that you're oh my god, there are 30 teams in the NBA. Because for a long while, you don't hear of most of these teams. Especially on our page, we don't hear of probably 20 of those teams. We're lucky if we hear of 15 of those teams. 15 probably a good number. Which is sad, but we are going to care and we are going to talk about them. We have decided to do it a 3-parter episode. Our first episode, we're going to go division-wise. One division from the East, one division from the West. Our division today from the East is the Central Division, and for the West, it is the Southwest Division. So the Central Division, it comprises of the Milwaukee Bucks, the Chicago Bulls, the Cleveland Cavaliers, Detroit Pistons, and the Indiana Pacers. I think there's at least 3 very decent teams in that mix, and 2 teams which are going to tank like hell for Victor Wembanyama. So we have a lot to talk about. And obviously on the Southwest side, we have the famous Texas Triangle: San Antonio Spurs, Dallas Mavericks, and the Houston Rockets, New Orleans Pelicans, and Memphis Grizzlies. We're going to take some time for each of those teams, try to figure out what we expect their season to look like, any players that is there to look out for, or if they are hopeless, then we're just going to not spend that much time. We'll be these teams are really hopeless. So
cool.
We'll start off with the Central Division.
I would say let's pick the worst team, talk about it, and then move on to the best team. I think Indiana Pacers is the worst team, so let's go from there. Okay.
I think there's a like there's enough competition between the Pistons and the Pacers. But let's find out why you think they are the worst.
Well, I think because they have no players. I mean, they have three good players, but it just seems like they are not trying to win. And also it's the same team as last year, which was pretty bad. So
they made that late season trade for Buddy Hield and Tyrese Haliburton.
Yes, so that's the only thing that I am looking for and trying to figure out, if that's going to win. The other guy that I really like on their team is Benedict Mathurin. It's a new guy, rookie. I like the guy. He's a good player. Very athletic. And then you have, the three good players are Miles Turner, Buddy Hield, and Tyrese Haliburton. They are like your three best players, and that's not a very good three best players.
Correct.
If your best player is who? Haliburton or Buddy Hield, like one of those two, right?
I would say Haliburton. Like he has a little bit more all-round sort of game, like that kind of best player. Buddy Hield is a laser shooter, but
right. So I would say if Tyrese Haliburton is your best player, I don't think you're a very good team. Honestly, there's nobody else. I mean, there's Daniel Tice, who we like from the Celtics.
Yeah. Last season, I think Chris Duarte also played a couple of good games. Like towards the end, when I think nobody gave a shit. But they're all talented players. But I don't think anything much is going to happen. TJ McConnell is one of those sparks. But Tyrese Haliburton and Buddy Hield, I think that's as far as this team will go.
I mean, there's also a very good likelihood that Russell Westbrook is going to be here, and Miles Turner and Buddy Hield might go to the Lakers.
That's too much. Why would they send Buddy Hield and Miles Turner to the Lakers? I think maybe one of those.
For some picks.
Because Lakers don't have any picks. Like for Lakers, it's like, okay, whoever we have right now, we just take it. They don't have any picks for a really long time. It doesn't even matter if they lose this season, they're not going to get that pick. That pick is going to go to the Pelicans. That is such a bad position to be at. It's ridiculous. There's nothing good about what it is. You see the game also, you're at the first two quarters, they sort of played together. I mean, I don't want to talk about the Lakers, so I will stop right now. But
who else? I mean, they have good coach, Rick Carlisle. Probably nothing's going to happen. Yeah, I think they're the worst team. I don't see much happening. Maybe 25 games this season.
Okay, all right. Should I note down? I'll note down. 25 games. They really don't. I mean, even Miles Turner is injured right now, right? He's not playing major minutes. With that, we'll say bye-bye to the Pacers and we'll go to the Pistons. I think the best part about the Pistons is their history. Like one of your favorite teams from the 80s, one of the biggest upsets of all time in 2004. But I think ever since the Josh Smith trade from the Pistons when they got him, since that time it's been pretty terrible.
Bad. Yeah, it's been pretty bad. So what I like about... So the reason why I didn't pick Pistons as the worst team is because I think they have 4 or 5 good players. So they have Cade Cunningham, who's really good. They have Bojan Bogdanovic, who's very good. They have Killian Hayes, who's good. They have Kevin Knox, who's good. They have Jaden Ivey, who's a rookie, who's good. So they have a lot of good players, not great players. They have a lot of good players. With Pacers, you had only 3 good players. All of these players, Corey Joseph, Sadiq Bey, also you could say, not bad, not a horrible player. So I think it's a good roster. They'll probably win a little bit more games than Pacers, I think, because they just have some more depth than... Oh, they have Hamidou Diallo.
Ex-OKC.
Nice.
What's up, baby? Dunk champion.
Hamidou Diallo.
No, I think where I differ with you is that the Pacers actually have better players who've been in the league longer. All of Pistons' players are sort of all new. Kevin Knox is ex-Knicks player. He's been there for a while. But apart from that, all of them. Cade Cunningham, last year's rookie. First
year.
Draft. Rookie of the year? No, Scotty Barnes was the rookie of the year. See, I knew it.
Oh.
Scotty Barnes, our Toronto Raptors, our main man. So, none of them are really proved to be different. Sadiq Bey, I don't know, but Bogdanovic, of course, is a shooter, but if you don't have a exceptionally skilled player who can, move around the ball, and then you're not going to get those easy shots. So Jaden Ivey, I really like Jaden Ivey. But apart from that, there's really not much here.
Do you think they're worse? Okay.
I think they're worse than Pacers. I think Pacers have really good players. Pistons
No,
do
they
not
don't have
good
really
players.
good players. They just have 3 good
Buddy
players,
Hield
and
is,
the rest of
Buddy
them are.
Hield- I think Buddy Hield is better
Right.
than any of these players that you. So maybe
Right.
I think Buddy Hield is
Okay.
better.
But then
Miles Turner
the
is
rest
better
of
than
it
all
is.
of
But
these.
you have to play. But you have to play 48 minutes, right? So if you're
Okay.
taking 48 minutes, you're taking different rosters combinations. These guys have better players as a rosters combination. So I feel like that's the reason. Like if you had
I
to.
will reserve judgment, but I think Pacers will win more games than the Pistons.
Okay.
I don't see the Pistons
Fair
winning anything more than I'll say 23 games Pistons will win. What are you saying?
Let's go. I mean, more than you.
25 is what you said the Pacers will win.
Yeah, so then let's say like 27 or something like that. I mean, I'm really excited for Jaden Ivey. He's super athletic. I don't know. I want to see some like
Out of the world
I don't see, like-
athleticism.
yeah, at least like there should be at least like 4 or 5 players who are like just like Zion. Like you just go like wow.
There's nobody like that.
Yeah, because like all this 3-point shooting is so like boring. It's like oh god, another 3-pointer from the corner. Great.
I think we sort of have an agreement on that. So we are going to talk about the Chicago Bulls next. They had a great season last season, but again got derailed by injuries. Levine was injured for a while. Then Vucevic was out of action. Caruso was out of action. Lonzo Ball again gone out of action. Still has not returned. The usual knee, ACL, meniscus, all those words being thrown around. I think if Lonzo Ball comes back, this is a very good team still because nothing has changed much from last time. They have the mid-range mastery of DeMar DeRozan and the slashing of Zach LaVine. I think they're a pretty good team. I don't think they're the third best team in this thing. But again, like the starting lineup, DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Vucevic, Caruso, Kobe White. Then there's Dragic, Andre Drummond is there, Derek Jones Jr. They've got someone named Ayo Dosunmu, Chicago Bulls
Never
number
heard of this
12.
guy.
6'5", 200 pounds. So
Not bad, huh? Averaging 12 points.
Yeah,
Yeah, not bad.
13 points a game on 51% shooting.
So the thing for me is that last season, like the Chicago Bulls had a great start, and they completely floundered later, right?
Yeah,
And when I mean completely, like they had one injury, I think Lonzo went out, and they completely.
and Caruso also went out.
Caruso also went out, and they completely like got dismantled. So that's
Yeah.
my thing with them is like it's the same. Everything is the same. I think maybe the only person they've added is Goran Dragic, who is a very good player. I mean, but he's old now and can't believe
He
Goran
doesn't get
Dragic.
those minutes anymore.
Yeah,
He doesn't have that same impact as the Suns Dragic, where he almost
Suns Dragic.
won one playoff game for them against the Spurs, I think,
Spurs, yeah.
when he was really young. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Miami Heat also he was really good. Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like you have DeMar and Zach, but who's the point guard if there's no ball? Like who's
Ball.
actually the point guard? Yeah, there's no one really who's a point guard.
Yeah,
Maybe
I mean, DeMar
Dragic
DeRozan
is-
leads the team in assists, so
That's not a good sign.
that's not a good sign. Correct.
Yeah. So I just feel like it's just discombobulated at this point. I feel there's no. You're right. If there was Lonzo Ball, I think like their first 5 is really good. I mean, there was. I think when was this? Like 2020, where we were very high on Chicago Bulls.
No,
Right, or
last season.
we were-
Last season.
Last season only. Yeah. We were
Ah.
high on the end of last season when they made all the trades. But they
Yes,
had
on
not
the-
really played
correct.
together. Yeah, they had not
Correct,
really
correct,
played
correct.
together, and we are like,
Yeah,
oh shit,
yeah.
this team is really good, and they proved it also the next year, right? They proved really fast, and then I don't know for whatever reason they just tanked. Like I mean, there was like DeMar DeRozan is MVP kind of.
Yeah, because he had, I think,
conversation.
either 2 continuous days of game winners, and he was dropping 40s and 50s, and people were like,
40s,
oh my God.
yeah, and so then people are like, oh, this is what happened. The thing I hate about this is like
Okay.
every time
As
like
we
someone.
digress, yes.
Yeah, as we digress. So, like, every time like some player leaves the Spurs and then starts scoring, everyone's like, oh yeah, in the Spurs system, they don't allow you to score. It's like, you think the Spurs don't want people to score? It's like, that means nothing. It's just that other people don't have a system. So, like, everybody gets free reign and whoever shoots. I think this was like the conversation, and I feel like Stack, right? What's his name? what's his name? Steven
Steven
Jackson.
Jackson. Yeah.
He has such a hate for the Spurs, even though the only chip he won was with the Spurs, but he got thrown out because the Spurs decided to keep Tony Parker instead of Steven Jackson. He hates Tony Parker. Like every time he gets a chance to like shit on Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili, like he does it because like the Spurs had to make a decision and they let go of Steven Jackson and like I think two other people and kept Manu and Tony. And since the Spurs let him go, like he became like a completely useless player. You know, like he was very, Steven Jackson in the Spurs, like, oh wow, look at him, so awesome. And then after that, he's been completely useless. So like,
when was he on the Spurs?
like,
I remember he was on the Spurs during 2012.
2003 championship.
And then,
Or 2005 championship. One of those.
Because then he went to the We Believe Warriors, and then I think he jumped around the league a little bit, and then obviously he's more famous for being a pacer.
Malice in the Palace.
Malice in the Palace. Like he found his thing there, and then jumped around the league a little bit.
And it's just like simple hate. Like I think there was a conversation about DeJounte Murray and like, oh, look at DeJounte Murray. Like, you know, he's now showing his things. Like, oh yeah, because he was in the Spurs system. You know, he couldn't show his thing. He was a near triple double in the Spurs system. Like what? You know, like what else do you want? You know, it's just stupidity. Anyways, so like DeMar DeRozan was apparently like, you know, curbed under the Spurs system, even though DeMar DeRozan himself says I became a much better player after going to the Spurs system because I had to like learn how to be more than a scorer and a facilitator and all of that stuff. And but people be hating.
I mean, but like even LaMarcus Aldridge, once he went to the Spurs, like production sort of dropped off a little bit. He was not the big man who could. Like he was supposed to take over Tim Duncan. Like that's how the whole thing went off.
Yeah.
Like they played one season together. They got bounced out by OKC in that semifinals, and then that the last good season of the NBA that existed. And after that, he's just like here there. Went to Brooklyn, didn't really play.
No, I mean 2017 they reached the finals, Western Conference Finals.
Who reached the finals?
Spurs, when Kawhi got injured.
Oh, that was the finals. Oh yeah, correct. That was finals. Yeah. But again, like we know LaMarcus Aldridge as a great Portland Trailblazer big who was just like unbelievably big at the turnaround and boom, and this bank and that mid-range shot.
That's true.
So I mean, I'm sure like we should talk about.
No, there is truth to it. I'm not saying there's no truth to it, but I just don't think it's like a thing to hate.
I mean, LaMarcus Aldridge can say it, not Steven Jackson as well.
Yeah, fuck Steven Jackson. His whole claim to fame is like Tim Duncan called me the best teammate he's ever played with. You know, like that's a huge honor for me. It's like he must have said that to everybody. He said that to like Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili in their Hall of Fame speech. Like, yes, they were the best teammates I played with. This guy is like fucking delusional.
That's the way he compliments. He just says you're the best.
Yeah. Yeah, best.
Oh god. Vineet, we'll now move on to the Cleveland Cavaliers, who you think are the second best team in this division.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know if people know this, and I don't think it's a little bit irrelevant because we are talking about divisions. So the reason divisions were sort of relevant in the NBA is because the division winners used to get us place in the playoffs. Like the team which won the most play games in that division, the number one team in each division would make it to the playoffs. So even if your record was not as great as the second team in the thing, you would still make it to the playoffs. So that's why divisions.
This is the reason people used to like shit on Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It's like, oh, he didn't make the playoffs 1 year. Yeah, that's because of this stupid rule.
So the divisions used to matter a lot. Now they don't. Now they have taken that rule away. So now divisions really don't matter in the NBA. But we thought, it's nice. It's easier to do it like 10-10-10 and 2 divisions each. So Cleveland Cavaliers, last year they outplayed everybody. Great. Like we never thought that Evan Mobley would be this good or like this impact. Right.
We
not at the beginning. Like when they drafted him and all, I don't think anybody thought that this would be. But they had the Colin Sexton, Darius Garland duo, like ripping apart the league a new one in that first, before the All-Star break. Like they were number 3 in the conference at one point of time. I think there were talks of LeBron being like, okay, fuck these Lakers, let me go back to my home. Like they struck up the league that badly that those rumors almost came to fruition.
Yeah.
What more can you say about the Cleveland Cavaliers? Right, like they've used.
They just got better. They got better.
They just got better. They got better. They got Donovan Mitchell in. They've kept most of their nice pieces in. They've kept Ricky Rubio, which I don't know is a great thing, but they've kept.
No, it's good.
Karis LeVert is there. Even Mobley is still there. I mean, Darius Garland is there. Sexton is gone. Kevin Love, okay. I mean, he's not playing that many minutes though, but.
No, I mean, it's 20 minutes a game. That's not bad. I mean, Kevin Love is like a serviceable, like, playoff player who knows how to play, who knows how to execute plays. Like, it's like, he's a government employee, like, you can trust that he will do the job. He may not overperform. He may not, like, solve the toughest problem that your company is facing, but he will file the taxes.
Oh my God. I hope Kevin Love listens to this and then he makes a retort and then we can use
it. They also have Karis LeVert, okay? Like, Karis LeVert is a really good player. I mean, he's a little bit like, off the cuff, he can do whatever he wants to do. Like, he just doesn't listen to, But still, that's really good. Robin
No, but
Lopez
you need some of those players. Yeah, exactly. Like, he scores. And I saw this stat recently of Gary Trent Jr. scoring 27 points, no steals, no blocks, no rebounds, no assists. And I was like, why are you complaining? 27 points is a lot of points to score. What you want the man? Like, first of all, he's not like a superstar or anything. So he scores 27 points for a team and you're like, oh, he didn't do anything else. Why? You know how difficult it is to score. Like, it's like, if you're not good, you're not going to be able to score. People are like, okay, here's an assist, here's an assist. You can pass the ball to the right person, but that person has to shoot, right? His 27 points means that somebody got some assists at the other end. So, because he didn't make the assist, 27 points is still 27 points, man. Like, that's a pretty good amount of points. But Cavaliers, like Donovan Mitchell, 28.5 points, like 4 games he's played. He's been on his like scoring sort of thing. He's just scoring. That's what he does. He doesn't care about anything else. Karis LeVert is scoring 11.5 points a game. They've got the old reliable Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen, but Cedi Osman is also scoring now. But I mean, I think
that is like because Darius Garland hasn't played enough games. Yeah, he just played one game. 4 minutes.
So I think the only thing which matters is how is Donovan Mitchell gonna make sure that he scores, but also make sure that he doesn't, create some strife anywhere else. Because him and Rudy Gobert could have been a great pick and roll combo, never really became as great as they could have been. Even Mobley, I think, is a much better defender in the playoffs at least. Rudy Gobert, of course, legendarily in the regular season, but I think Mobley, Jarrett Allen, they have a little bit of that. I can guard people on the perimeter sort of a feeling to them.
Absolutely.
So I think good team. I personally believe that I think once Lonzo Ball is back, Bulls are better than the Cavaliers, but I think Cavaliers just have so many weapons, so many scoring options that
I'm going to win all of these. Like, all of I believe things.
Okay. Wait. No,
I mean, but obviously. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Let's. No, I'm just saying, like, obviously we can't predict injuries, but hoping everyone is healthy.
We ignore injuries till they come. When they come, then we'll be like, okay, oh fuck, we did not think of injuries.
Yeah.
But how many wins do you think the Bulls will have? We didn't do that. How many wins do you think the Bulls will have?
I think the Bulls will have like between 35-40.
Give a number. What is the number?
37.
37 wins you think the Bulls will have. And the Cavaliers? I think the Bulls will have 47 wins this season.
47?
Yeah.
Ridiculous. No, it's not. I think Cavaliers are more of a 45, 46, yeah.
So when you say 37, that means they'll lose more games than they'll win.
Who, the Bulls?
No, I mean, there are 82 games, so 41 is the middle.
See,
so
a good team, like a top team,
Bucks,
is a 50 win team, right?
Minimum.
Yeah, minimum. So I feel like in this thing there are two. There's Milwaukee Bucks and Cavaliers are the two 50 win teams, and possible 50 win teams. And the way this thing is structured is that you play mostly with you play more games with the same conference, something like that, right? So same division also.
I mean, sort of, I guess. Yeah.
So I feel like there are other good teams that will be in the 35 to 45 range, and Chicago Bulls will not be that team. There is Miami, there's all of these other teams.
So you think the Bulls will win 37 games this season? You can upgrade it now. You just
No, that's
give
what I'm
me a
saying.
number.
35 to 40, like, higher, closer to 40 than to 35 is what I'm saying.
Oh. And what about the Cleveland Cavaliers? What do you think their win rate will be?
Yeah, closer to 50. Yeah, like 47, 48 kind of thing. I don't
I'll
think they're
put
a
48.
50 team.
Okay. I think the Cavaliers will win 45 games. I think they are pretty good enough to win 45 games.
What?
Yeah.
The Chicago is?
Chicago is 47 for me. Okay, all right. We talk about the last team, the Milwaukee Bucks. I think when they get Chris Middleton, this will be as good as that 2021 team, the one which won the championship, because nothing much has changed for them. Of course, I think by next year, they'll start dwindling down because they lose Brook Lopez, who's that crazy guy who puts people fear in the paint, and then he goes to the outside and then starts shooting threes. I don't know what combination this is of Tim Duncan and Ray Allen. This is ridiculous. But their squad is largely unchanged. Chris Middleton, I think they said they will come back by probably beginning of next year.
Quickly, who's the second highest scorer of Milwaukee Bucks?
Is it Grayson Allen?
Bobby Portis.
Bobby Portis, of course, is Lord Bobby. They've not lost a game yet, the Milwaukee Bucks. Chris Middleton.
Serge Ibaka is also there. Was Serge Ibaka the last year also? I think he was there, yeah.
Was that honestly?
I think he was there. Yeah, I mean, everything is on Giannis. Like, if you actually take off Giannis, it's a pretty average team.
Of course, if you take off Giannis from any team that is part of, that team is going to fall off a lot. But
I'm just saying, like, there's no one really, like, maybe like Drew Holiday agencies.
No, but I think Giannis being that crazy good is giving everybody else their points. So I mean, they're not playing any different. It's not. I'm not saying that suddenly they've got someone who's different.
Yeah, he's averaging 36, 13, 5, and 2 blocks.
What are these numbers? But I think he'll settle off somewhere at that 30 mark by the end of the season. I think right now he has to do more because Chris Middleton is not there also. So you obviously have to do more.
Yeah.
But I think Bucks easily the best team in this division. I am predicting. I want to predict a 60-win game.
Champions.
No, I'm predicting they'll win 55 games. 55 to less than 60, but 55, 57, somewhere there is what I feel that they will win.
Okay.
And what about you, Vineet?
I think that they will be higher, above 55. So like
60, 58.
57, 56, 56 level actually. They can go. One less.
One more than me. I hope they win 54 games.
I mean, there has to be one team that wins 60 games, no? So that has to be Milwaukee Bucks. Who else will win
Milwaukee is probably for me again, I think Milwaukee best team in the thing right now. Not right now, but by the time the series, I think everything.
You know what? I'm going to put Milwaukee in the 60s. So like maybe like 61 games, something like that.
61 games. With Giannis, you can never count against the Bucks doing that.
Because there's no one else. Who else is like that good? You know, Heat have had a bad start. Philadelphia has had a bad start. Miami has
really
had a
bad start. Boston is there, but
Boston.
I think Boston is there. Boston is there. That's going to be a very exciting next episode. We've got special guest, hopefully.
Anything else you want to add to Milwaukee Bucks?
Probably that they are a little more hungry because they felt like they could not defend the title last time. Like Giannis looks just as powerful as always. Like nothing has changed for him, which is a sign of probably, like a great player. Like he is coming, like last season was not in my control. I tried to do everything I want, but I can't shoot jump shots, and Celtics really pulled a number on him. So
Giannis is like Shaq, but like Shaq just didn't play defense. Like Giannis plays defense.
He's a modern day Shaq. Like Shaq says, he's a modern day Shaq.
He's like this like alien that's like walking on the court all the time. It's like crazy.
Anyway, with that, we will stop the Central Division, the exciting division that is gone, and now we'll go into probably one of the, by the looks of it, one of the weaker divisions. Like the power disparity is a little bit too much, at least in my opinion. Actually, not really. There are good teams. We'll start off with this is the the Southwest division. So once again, just a recap: we have the San Antonio Spurs, the Houston Rockets, the Mavericks, the Pelicans, and the Grizzlies. I feel the worst team is the Houston Rockets
What?
in this.
No, the Spurs. Come on,
Spurs.
look at the roster, bro. Look at that roster. Like, just look at it. I'll tell you the names of the roster. Like, let's see if you... Keldon Johnson, Josh Richardson, Gorgie Deng, Jeremy Sochan, Joshua Primo, Blake Wesley, Doug McDermott, Isaiah Robbie. Who the fuck are these people? Malachi Branham, Zach Collins, Charles... Never even heard of these players. It's ridiculous, man. I mean...
Man, have you seen the Houston Rockets lineup?
No, Houston Rockets have a good lineup. Like, they have like 2 or 3 like top picks who are doing well. I don't think it's a bad lineup.
I mean, they have names that we have heard of, but that's only because they have like beautiful hair and they dunk like crazy. Jalen Green.
Like, see, Jabari Smith, Kevin Porter Jr., Jalen Green, Kenyon Martin Jr. Oh, no, Kenyon Martin Jr. That's
not Kenyon Martin. Kenyon Martin Jr.
Yeah. And Eric Gordon. This is good. It's better than our fucking Spurs, man. Spurs only on Keldon Johnson and Jakob Poeltl you have heard of.
Oh, actually, yeah. The Sengun is also there. And your favorite, Boban
Marjanovic. They should
but
just
also
let
Sengun
Boban
Sengun is pretty good. I think you're right. I think Spurs are probably Sengun. Alfred Sengun is a Turkish
Sengun
guy.
is there. Sengun's good. Yeah, he's good.
Sengun is pretty good.
They should let him play.
I think Sengun in a couple of years will go away from here and he'll go to a team and they'll be like, oh my god, we can't believe we got Sengun. Like he's sort of pretty nice. Of course, San Antonio Spurs and Rockets both competing for Victor Wembanyama, so I don't expect to see them win a lot of games. But I feel because of the names that you've mentioned that I think Spurs probably the worst team in this division. So,
I mean, the coach has come out and said, listen, don't bet on us. Like if the coach comes out and says, listen, don't put your money on us. Like,
but that's common sense. Like who is putting money on them?
I mean, there are some like diehard Spurs fans like, yeah, Spurs, they've got a new roster, like, So Spurs are the worst. There's nothing to talk about, honestly, because there's no player in it that except for Keldon Johnson, I don't care about. Like, yeah, I like him, but like other than him, there's nobody. So we are all waiting for the Victor Wembanyama. If we don't get that, I don't know what they're going to do. They have a lot of money.
They only have I think it's what worst record, like four worst records. They have a 25% chance. So, like, it's not like you play the worst and you'll be like, oh, definitely we are going to.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you don't get it, what are you going to do? Like,
take the second worst. Take the second best player. They can take Scoot Henderson.
I mean, the difference between Scoot and Wembanyama is too much at this point. Like, Scoot is too small, man. Eventually, like he'll be. Like,
I mean, don't compare everybody to Wembanyama. Okay, correct.
No, Scoot is too small, anyways. It's like 6'1", 6'2".
I think 6'3" in shoes. Okay, fine. We'll not talk about the Spurs but we'll talk about the team whose jersey color you're wearing. Houston Rockets. They've got a nice lineup, but again, I don't think their plan is to win any games. How many wins for the Spurs this season? I'm predicting 20 wins.
22.
22. Okay. All these will be tallied and later we will give some awards away.
Some awards will be given.
Okay, all right. Houston Rockets, I think, like you said, better players, better names. They made a lot of noise last year by all that rookie Josh was there, and there was not really anyone in this draft class to take. So they were like, okay, let's just try to play, try to win, do all that jazz. Didn't really work. Houston Rockets, one of those teams. Their history is so much better than what is going on presently. Like as recently as 4 years ago, the Chris Paul Houston Rockets, Paul James Rocket could have created a bawal in the NBA by beating the Kevin Durant Warriors, but didn't work out. Some things happened.
So close. Seriously, the whole narrative around James Harden would have changed. Poor guy, I feel bad for him. I really like this name though, Ty Washington Jr. It's a nice name.
Ty Washington Jr. Is he on the Rockets?
Ty Washington Jr. Rockets. Yeah. 6'3" guard, rookie. Anyway, the thing I like about also is like, see, Jabari Smith, Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green. These three players are young. They just came into the league. They want to prove themselves. I don't think they will want to tank. Just don't think that.
I mean, I don't think anybody wants to tank, but like they're not going to be beating people.
No, I just feel like, like there are this. I don't think that it sounds like they are like going to tank. That's my point. It's like they're going to try to win games. They did that last year also. They tried to win games in the end.
Oh, you mean try to win games? As in not like give up and be like, okay, I guess nothing's going to happen.
Yeah, like San Antonio has basically given up. They just gutted their roster and they said, fuck it. Like, this is not a bad roster. Like, the young players can become, like Jabari Smith and Jalen Green are actual good players. Like, like they can become like serviceable top 20 top 20 players in the NBA. So I got Eric Gordon too, who I really like.
Gonna watch some of these Houston Rockets games just to see what happens. I think their only chance of beating anyone is the Lakers. So I'll watch that.
And the Spurs.
They did beat the Lakers last year, right? They had some crazy. They played really well against the Lakers. I don't think they beat them, but they had some really good games against them. And that's what I remember. That's the only games, because last year also they were sort of pretty like this bad. Anyway, let's move on. Let's go to the third best team in this division right now. I feel it should be the New Orleans Pelicans. I think they are the third best team in this division.
Yeah,
great
I
team.
think so too.
Great team. Like probably one of the dark horses in the tournament, in the Western Conference completely. They got Zion back, who again broke the basketball court, but also sort of broke his back a little bit. I think it might be just be like a tightness sort of thing. I'm sure it's not like season ending or anything of that nature. Brandon Ingram is back. He also got injured a little bit. CJ McCollum, Jonas Valanciunas is there. They've got Herb Jones. They played a game against the Mavericks where 8 players had had scores in double digits, which is a crazy statistic to have. So they played well. A little bit of it probably the beginning of the season Josh. But I think if they have Zion and Brandon Ingram, I think this is a team which can easily win like 45 plus games easily. I don't know.
Agreed. I think that I predicted them as my Western Conference Finals team.
Damn.
Because if Zion is healthy for like at least 60 to 65 games, I really love their roster. Amazing players. They fit really well with each other. There's no selfish player on the team.
Okay.
Everyone's kind of like team oriented. Everyone will take. Nobody is like Kyrie Irving. I mean, I was looking at their. I don't know if you saw it, but like Kyrie took like 31 shots to score the same thing that like Kevin Durant took 21 shots.
Yeah. No, this game only. I think the last game that they lost to the
last game. Yeah, they lost to the Mavericks. Like it's the same thing with like Russell Westbrook. It's like you have Kevin Durant on your team, right? Like this guy over here can score at unstoppable force. Like give him the fucking ball. Like just let him score. I hate that about like. That's like the Golden State Warriors was the only team that was like, we got Kevin Durant, give him the ball.
Here's the ball.
Here is the ball, Kevin. Please score. It's the only team, and that team had the best other like player in Steph Curry. Like it's just like, like this. That's the thing used to frustrate me about OKC is like, and Russell was like, in the last like minute. I mean, you know this more than me. The last minutes of the game, it's like there is Kevin Durant right there. Russell, like just give him the ball and let him score. Like you don't have to do anything. Like you will win the game.
Sometimes on those really sad days, what I watch is the 2012, the entire series. Like it's there on YouTube. Some games are there, right? Like, because it's not there on NBA app anymore. That entire series, it's head scratching. Like Russell Westbrook made so many bad decisions, but he got out of it purely by his athleticism. Like he would just jump out of nowhere, crash, like try to hit a shot, like falling off the basket, like trying to bank it, didn't go, and then he would rush after the rebound, get it off the person, and just make the right pass accidentally, and people be like, "Oh my god, why did you just make the pass earlier to
Kevin Durant?" God. This is what I tell. It's like Kyrie, like, man, you got Kevin here, right there. Like, You just give him. He will take 2 dribbles. He will pull up. No one will be able to stop it, and he has a 50% shot of getting that shot.
So, Nets. I mean, we should talk about the Nets then only. But that's why I will hold my. I'll hold my words. But yeah.
Well, the point I was trying to make for New Orleans Pelicans is that that team is very collaborative. You know, CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, Zion, Jonas Valanciunas, all of these guys. Not Jonas Valanciunas. Yeah, Jonas Valanciunas.
Yeah, Valanciunas.
Yeah, Jonas Valanciunas. Yeah, all of these players are good players who are not selfish, who understand their roles. It fits in really well. They have that X factor in Zion that if you put him in and everything works, poof, it can be like great. So that's what I like about it. I like that they have that X factor in
Zion.
And CJ and Brandon are 2 players who can win you a game by themselves. So it's a great roster. Super. If Zion is healthy, this team is going to the Western Conference Finals.
Wow, that Western Conference Final. Let me note down.
Nobody is stopping Zion. Nobody is stopping Zion. Every highlight I watched of him, he goes wherever he wants to go. He takes a shot whenever he wants to take a shot. And if he misses it, he goes back for his rebound and gets it back again. It's like, I am taking a shot now. You cannot do anything about it.
Isn't it crazy how he jumps and then jumps again before the first guy has landed?
Exactly. I don't know how he does it. It's just he is kind of like Moses Malone, right? It's like Moses Malone also they say a lot of his shots were like his own putbacks. It's kind of very similar. Just he misses and he'll just go and grab it. And you're just like, isn't there like another 7-footer right next to you? It doesn't matter. It's just like,
oh, let me do this. No. There's some bulk right there. Oh. I think when we heard about CJ McCollum coming in there, and last season also we knew that Zion was not going to play, but we knew that once Zion came back, the elevation that he would bring on would be crazy. So I think it's just a matter of Zion playing enough minutes. He's already taken down some weight, so I think it's probably going to be a good place to be at.
So I personally think that the New Orleans Pelicans are better than Mavericks.
Okay.
Yeah.
And obviously the Grizzlies also?
I think Grizzlies are the best team in this.
Okay. Right.
So Grizzlies are number 1, Pelicans are number 2, and the Pelicans really depend on Zion's health.
So let's say Zion is healthy, then what win percentage? Not like win percentage. How many wins do you think this season?
I would say 48.
48. Okay. 48 is not that high. So you think that they will overperform in the playoffs?
Yeah. I'm gonna take some time for them.
I've got them at 45 wins. Sort of like, okay, they'll win, but again,
because they haven't played enough games together and all that stuff, right? Yeah.
But definitely one of the top.
And they play in the Western Conference, so they play against really good players, good teams. So they're not going to win. This itself, there are 2 teams that can whoop their ass, right?
Exactly.
Then
but let's hope for
Golden State Warriors. You have Phoenix Suns, Denver Nuggets.
I think I think Phoenix Suns, if they can beat them, then that means that they can beat most teams. Because Phoenix Suns sort of plays like the modern NBA sort of game, right? Shoot, defend the 3, let the mid range go. So that probably is a little bit more. And they have a really smart point guard also. So that remains to be seen. Anyways,
finally you're coming through on Chris Paul. You used to hate Chris Paul a lot.
Yes, because he used to take
just
that
because
spot away from
Russell.
How time flies. We're gonna talk about the Mavericks next. I think we feel that I think Mavericks is probably the second best team in this conference. I think Mavericks, Luka, Mahan, great MVP this season, but I really don't like the way they play. It's a bit like Houston Rockets without the spamming of threes. It's just not that great to watch, but I think
it's too much Luka focused, yeah.
Too much.
The Dallas Mavericks are one Luka injury away from being in the play-in tournament, right? Like
No,
in Memphis,
they're going straight to Wembanyama. They lose Luka, it'll be like,
right?
hello, Wembanyama.
But like with Memphis, like even if Ja goes, which they saw last year, like they
Yeah.
played better. So
They
that's
played
why I
better.
think like Memphis is the best team in this conference, this division.
I think like with Mavericks, the problem is even last year Mavericks played much better when Luka was injured. Like all of those people, like when Jalen Brunson had to become like the driving force, the ball was moving
Yeah.
around a lot more. Everyone else felt
Everyone
like,
is,
yes,
oh my God,
Oh.
we can shoot now.
the ball. Oh, nice. I can
We
hold
have
on
not
to the ball
had
for
the
2 seconds. So
Yeah.
that's what you see. The not the crazy talent of Luka is undeniable. Like one-on-one, you can't stop him.
Undeniable.
Absolutely.
Yes.
He'll
Yes.
go up wherever it is. But as a team, like, I don't know, maybe he's not, like, obviously he doesn't have any superstar beside him also. Like, it's not like there is anyone there. Christian Wood has been playing pretty well. I think Christian Wood probably might get to the starting lineup eventually. I don't know. I think Jason Kidd is probably waiting for something, but that's going to happen soon. I think Christian Wood is going to get to the top. But apart from that, it's like, I don't know. It's not a team which is meant for like long, deep playoff runs and all. That's all I feel. I mean, even I know that we have a lot of Luka fans on the pod. So Luka, great player, but Mavericks wise, I don't know. It's not a great.
It's not like they don't have good players, right? Like Christian Wood, Dinwiddie, Tim Hardaway Jr., Maxi Kleber, Reggie Bullock, JaVale McGee, Dwight
JaVale
Powell.
McGee.
They're all good. JaVale McGee is good. Like, no, what you want like reliable players, right? You want people who know their role, who do what they are expected to. They're not. That is, in my opinion, that's a good player. Like when you know what the role this player is doing, and he's going to do this much, and he does that well, he's a good player, right?
Okay.
Like Dwight Powell knows his role. He does what he has to do. He does it well. Dorian Finney-Smith knows his role. He does it well. All of these people are good players. The issue with Luka is that Luka is not Jokic. Luka doesn't have like that cerebral, like he doesn't see like 50 steps ahead. His assists are more like, I'm going to try, and if I can't, then I'll pass the ball.
Yeah.
And then something will figure out. Like Jokic is different. That's what makes Jokic better, is like Jokic can see like 50 steps ahead and say like, okay, if this guy will move here, this guy will move here. If I pass it here, then it'll come back to me and I'll do it this. And then that Luka has to develop. He can't develop it like the way Jokic has it, but he has to develop that so that like he is running the offense and then being the offense.
I think the offense has been run the same way when Carlisle was here too, when Jason Kidd was here. It's
Difficult, right?
It's the high pick and roll.
It's because it's because Luka hasn't developed those skills yet. And I thought that Jason Kidd was kind of like Jokic, like like amazing. Like 2 times took them to the finals championship with.
He had no business taking those Nets to the finals.
No business at all. And I just thought like he would kind of slow Luka down and say, hey man, you got to see like 4 steps ahead, 5 steps ahead. You got to like, you got to pass the ball to Christian Wood, and Christian Wood will like try to do a move and give it back to you. And then you got to see like if you do that, then I think he will become more. But like whatever you see of the Dallas today is just like Luka dribbling, trying to find a spot, and he can't find a spot, then he'll like throw it out. So he has to, he has to sacrifice his awesomeness at offense. Awesomeness of offense. Like he knows he can do this. Like he knows that if he goes here, he'll get it. Right? To learn these other skills. And once these other skills become really good, then he can like, so that's, I don't know.
Because I think he's a good passer. I think.
Yeah, he's like Russell Westbrook.
Passer.
See, Russell Westbrook is a good assist guy, right? But that's not what he's thinking when he first gets the ball. Like Jokic, the moment he gets the ball, he's like, okay, who can I give the ball to?
Who is in a better place?
Who is in a better place? Who can I move? Who can I give the ball? Then when he moves and gives me the ball back, then this other person will be in a better spot. Like he thinks all of that before he makes a move, which is why he's 2-time MVP. And like Luka doesn't have that. No, I just have to say, like, to give credit where credit is due. I discovered
this.
I was fighting for Jokic when everyone was like, and no one said he was a bad player, but no. Yeah, but it was just like no one really thought he was two-time MVP, you know.
Yeah, correct. Absolutely, I agree. I think, but I don't know. Like, I think after a while, some people just don't change because they are very okay
He's
with
still-
the adulations
yeah,
that he gets.
Yeah,
No,
he's
I
still
mean,
young, so like,
Luka is easily one of the top 5 players in the league, like without doubt.
yeah.
But for that team success, there has to be a little bit more of like, let me take a backseat now. When the real moment comes, I'll be there because he's unstoppable. Like he's almost unstoppable with the ball in his hand. So, you know, so it's one of those things. I don't know.
And the thing is, I feel defenses will figure him out in the playoffs somehow. Yeah.
Like the great Kobe Bryant said, if your offense is one of those one person doing everything, defense will be like, okay, let's just focus on him and we'll deal with the rest. We don't have to worry about that.
Kobe Bryant said this?
Yes. Let's move on to the best team in the Southwest Division. For a long while, this was not the case. Maybe during the grindhouse days, but Memphis Grizzlies, Ja Morant, Steven Adams, Desmond Bain, Dylan Brooks, Jaren Jackson Jr., the same crew as last time. Tyus Jones is there.
Bro.
Same crew. Little more hungry this time. Ja trying to do little more things. Steven Adams throwing out little more people. It's good team. They've got the size. They've got the I want to do this thing.
They got the Josh.
They exactly. So I think last year their only issue was they faced Golden State Warriors, who've seen all these upstarts, who've seen all these different styles of play, all these youthful people.
Steph said, "Okay, brother. Okay, we've seen you.
We know what you are about.
Yes, we know what you are. You are a kid."
So I think they'll probably have another great season.
So you agree with me that they are the best team, or you said Dallas is the best team, right?
I think Dallas probably will win more regular season games. But I think because Luka is so much better and there are so many bad teams in the NBA that I think they probably will win more games. But I think as a team, Memphis has a lot more depth and range and they have more defense. So Mavericks can only beat them on those crazy shooting nights where they shot 50% from 3. And probably Memphis can't match that offensive thing. But I think Memphis has a lot more weapons than Mavericks.
They play better as a team. I wouldn't say like they have a lot more weapons.
No, I think
they play better as a team.
That's what I think. I think they have a lot more weapons, like weapons which can work because they are all given the ball equally. Like they feel.
No, I mean,
more
see,
united.
okay, like look at their roster. Okay, it's Ja Morant, Desmond Bain, Tyus Jones, Brandon Clark, Dylan Brooks, Steven Adams, all good players.
Jaren Jackson.
Actually, he's injured till I think he's going to come back. I think in January or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So if you take out Ja and what's his name? No, take out Ja and Luka out of the rosters, and the Mavs actually have a better players on their roster than Memphis.
Okay.
Right. So because they do. I mean, you can just check. You can compare the names, but Ja is not Luka. And the way Ja plays is very different, right? Ja is not much of a ball hog. He's not a distributor as much.
Yeah.
So he lets the point guard do the point guard stuff. They rotate the ball so that whoever gets the best shot gets the best shot. It's not like, here, Luka, here's the ball, you do something with it. And that's what makes it more of a collaborative thing, because Ja just doesn't have that capability.
Skill. Yeah.
Right. So like the problem with Luka is so good. That's the problem. I don't think it's the roster's problem. I think they actually have a very good roster. If you look at the players, they're actually quite good for their roles and everything. So Luka just has to and this is the thing we talked about long time back also, he just has to learn to take that one step back.
So Luka just has to take one step back. This is amazing how great you are there. You're like, let me take one step back.
Yeah, one step back. You just have to take, Kobe also did the same. You know, Kobe, 24 Kobe, he took a step back. He said, okay, I'm not going to be this ball dominant, always want to shoot, taking all the shots.
Taking 30 shots a
I'm
game.
going to yeah. So he took a step back, which is why I always say the 24 Kobe was amazing. I have no problems with 24 Kobe. I have a lot of problems with 8. But 24 was great. Like he really was. I mean, this is no undeniable.
Yeah. Because he could have continued to play that way, but he decided to take a step back.
Exactly. He could have continued to play that way, and nobody would have cared about it. Like Lakers would still pay him.
He already had 3 rings, so it doesn't matter. Okay, and on that note, we have again invoked a Lakers name who's not discussed here. But on that note, we will end this episode. This is 10. We will do another 10 next week. So let us know what you feel. Yes. I mean, if you have a favorite team who we discussed, tell us who you think is their most, like how many wins they will have in the season. And till then, like, share, subscribe, do all the jazz, and we'll catch you next week. Till then, Vineet, say bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Ashwin.